on Wednesday, November 2nd, and we are now recording this hearing by tape, and we're calling to order a public hearing on the proposed transit fare structure and on some service changes. On behalf of the JTA Board Chairman, who is Mr. Michael Cavendish, and the JTA Executive Director, who is Mr. Michael Blaylock, I want to welcome you all to the public hearing. My name is Shannon Eller, and I work for JTA. And the purpose of the meeting today is to give you an opportunity to comment on the proposed fare structure that we have at the back table for you to review. All of the comments that you provide today will be summarized, and they will be given to our JTA Board of Directors, and the JTA Board of Directors will consider these comments before they make their final decision. Now, what I'm going to do quickly is run through a few announcements, run through a few introductions. We're going to give you a brief presentation on what the proposed fare changes are and the proposed service changes that we're looking at for the end of the year. And then we'll go into our public comments section, and I'll give you a little bit more details on how we'll run that public comments section in just a moment. So first, with our general announcements. When you came in the door, you saw back here that we had a sign-in sheet. So we'd like for you to sign in so we have a record of who attended the meeting, and that way we can communicate with you if we need to. As always, we thank Florida State College for allowing us to be here in the auditorium. I've seen many of your faces from previous public hearings when we've been here to discuss service changes. So we enjoy being here, and I think it's a great venue. Not that we anticipate an emergency, but in case there is an emergency, you should know that the emergency exits are located along the side of the auditorium, and there are also emergency exits behind me on the back side of the stage. As I mentioned earlier, we have handouts that are available at the sign-in table. And on the handout lists the proposed fares, and we also have a comment form. And again, we're here today to hear your comments if you'd like to speak your comments, but you may always fill out your comment and put it in the comment box as well. Now, if you'd like to speak today when we get to our public comment section, I ask that you fill out one of these speaker cards. And these speaker cards are located at the front table. Now, we're going to limit the comments to 3 minutes because that way we'll have enough time for everyone to have their comments placed into the record. Now, if you have specific questions, we will have staff here to answer those questions, but we're going to try to just hear the comments and get them all into the record instead of taking time during individuals' presentations to go back and forth. So again, the speaker cards are at the front table, so fill one out, and you can bring that up to me, and we will get you in the queue. Now, briefly for introductions, we have our Director of Mass Transit, Mr. Clinton Forbes is here, and Mr. Khalid, who is our Assistant Mass Transit Director, and they will be doing part of the presentation to you in just a moment. We also have several other JTA staffers here to answer your questions, including Kent Stover, who's our Service Planning Manager, and he can answer your questions specific to the proposed service changes. And then we have lots of other staffers here. If you guys raise your hands over here on this side, and you can see our hands in the back, if you have questions, and we will again stay after the public comment section to answer your specific questions if you feel more comfortable speaking just one-on-one. All right, now to some of the legal things that I must say. This public hearing is being held to receive comments from the public on the issue of changing the JTA transit fare structures and values. Now, this hearing is being held in conformance with the Federal Transit Administration regulations and guidelines, and also pursuant to Florida Statutes Chapter 349. This particular public hearing was advertised in the Times-Union, which is a newspaper of general circulation, on 2 separate occasions. And those occasions were October 4th, 2011, and October 19th, 2011. Additionally, we placed notices on the buses and the Skyway cars. We placed notices at Rosa Parks Station, on JTA's website, on JTA's Facebook page, and also through Twitter. And we've also had 12 outreach meetings inviting folks to come to the public hearing today. And then we've also released it to the media, and it's been advertised and noticed in the media several times. Now, again, we're here to take your public comments during the public hearing section, but I want you to know that you can submit your public comments in several different ways if you don't feel comfortable standing up in front of the microphone. In addition to coming down and talking to us today, you can submit a written comment at any time. You can give it to the folks at the back corner here, and we do have forms available and a pen, so you can write out your comments. You can also come down front and speak to our stenographer directly if you'd like to have some comments written into the record, but you prefer, again, not to speak in front of everyone. You may walk down front and see her. You can also mail or email or fax your comments by December 2nd. And again, at the back of the room, we have a sheet of paper that gives you the mailing address, the email address, and the fax number. And then you can also go to our website. If you go to jtafla.com, we've got a fair change comment box on the front page. So if you go to the website, you can click on that comment box and you can submit comments that way. Again, as I've mentioned before, all comments, however they're submitted, they'll be maintained as part of this hearing record, and they will be provided to our JTA board before they make their final decision. Also, a transcript of this hearing. Again, as I mentioned, the stenographer is taking down everything that we say. She's recording it, and then she will transcribe it onto paper. That transcript will be available if you'd like a copy on November 21st, 2011. And this public hearing specifically began with an open house between 11 and 11:30, which is why we didn't get started until 11:30. And during that time, we had JTA staff available to answer questions about the proposed service changes or about the proposed fare structure. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to have a brief presentation going over the proposed fare structure, and then as well as the proposed service changes. And then we will get into the speaker cards. And I just ask that you're courteous to your fellow citizens when they come up to speak, so that way everyone has their opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. And again, staff will stay after to answer your specific questions one-on-one, and that way we have plenty of time for everyone to get their comments into the record. All right, so at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our Mass Transit Director, Forbes, and our Assistant Mass Transit Director, Khalid, so they can provide you with a brief presentation on the fare structure and the proposed service changes.
Shannon, thank you. As Shannon mentioned, my name is Khalid. I'm the Director of Mass Transit. I would like to sincerely welcome all of you today to the public hearing. Thank you for coming. I know you, in your busy lives, you could be doing other things, and you chose to come here and provide your comment to JTA. Essentially, we'll be talking about in our presentations 3 topics. As Shannon mentioned, the proposed fare structure, the new payment system, and December service changes. As she mentioned, Khalid, the Assistant Director, will make that presentation on the proposed fare changes, and Ken Stover will make the presentation on the service changes. It's important for us to listen to you, to get your comments. You know, we care about how our services are provided to you and what you think about our services. Okay, so this is very important to us. We care about your comments. Now, on the proposed fare structure, you know, with any business that has increased costs, you know, if you're going to expand your business and provide that better customer service, your operational costs increase. And so, while we have worked hard not to come to you to recover those increased costs, you know, this will only be the second time in 11 years to increase the fare, that we're increasing the fare. The second time in 11 years. Okay? And as you'll see in the presentation, the $1 current base fare is one of the lowest fares in the country for a mid-sized transit system such as the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. So, and we recognize, because I listen to the customers, and I've talked to some of you before the meeting, we recognize we have a lot of work to do. With our bus operators being more courteous, with our buses coming on time, with the cleanliness of our buses, we recognize that. And I'm sure we're going to hear more of that from you. And so we are working to improve our system. Now, we have made a lot of progress. We have made a lot of progress. And I think a testimony to the progress that we have made is the ridership increases on our system. Okay? We're averaging about 7% increase in ridership every month. Earlier this year, before the beginning of the school year, you probably read in the paper that the school district canceled they cut the magnet school transportation. Well, JTA stepped to the plate, and for 7 magnet schools, we are now transporting those children from their homes to school on JTA. They learned the system. We held their hands for a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, and they got it. These are future riders on JTA, and they're riding our system. So we are very proud of that. We believe that's a win for JTA, and we're doing something right. Now, that also has contributed to our increase in ridership. The school-age kids. And we're experiencing about 1,300 trips a day during the weekday from that new market that we've captured. So I mentioned that we have the increased ridership. So we're reinventing our service to be more reliable, to provide you better information and more transportation options. And we want you to help us do that. We want your feedback on this. Better fare products. Not only are we asking you to share a little more in recovering some of these operational costs, because the increase in fuel, we're impacted by that too. When fuel goes up, it also affects the transit agency. So we're asking for you to participate a little more in recovering those costs. The new fare product, we're reinvesting into our system to make it more convenient for you. And you will hear more about that in the presentation, but in just a few months, you will have a new fare system. And you will be one of really just about 12 to 15 transit agencies in the country to have this smart card technology where you can reload online, you can reload at a ticket vending machine. It actually works like a debit card. And so we're providing you better products and easier payment systems through this technology. And so the other thing is, and I'm sure we're going to hear about the overloaded buses, and that's a good problem for us to have, but we want you to be comfortable on our buses. So we are addressing that. We'll hear from you, I'm sure, about the routes that should come a little more frequent. And so we're addressing that, because I am definitely a believer that if we provide better service, you'll ride more frequently. Okay? And I have a pet peeve with discourteousness. Okay? So our bus operators, we feel, are the ambassadors for Jacksonville in many respects, and they need to be courteous to you. Okay? So we need to hear that. But I'm sure there are a lot of courteous bus operators out there too as well. But when you get on that bus, we want you to have a good day. And we wanted to start with our bus operators. So we're extending the coverage. We're doing a lot of things, and you'll hear more about all the good things that we're doing. And we need your input, because you are the experts. You ride the system. So listening is very important to us, and we will follow up. So I'm going to shut up, and we're going to go quickly through our presentation and then really listen to you. Okay, and as Shannon mentioned earlier, decorum is very important. We want to be respectful. You can be passionate about your comment, but you can also be very civil-minded as well. Okay? Because my mom always told me, if you go into public, you act right. And so we're going to ask you to act right. All right? But we want your comments. So thank you very much. At this time, we'll ask Khalid to go into the fair presentation.
Thank you, Clinton. Good morning, everybody. My name is Khalid Shammout. I'm the Assistant Director of Mass Transit at JTA. And again, just want to extend our welcome to all of you, and we appreciate you coming here, spending the time with us. And again, thanks, Clinton, for that intro. As you've heard from Clinton, the Director of Mass Transit, JTA has really been doing many improvements to the service, and we realize that any system cannot just, stay as it is for long. There's a need for continuous improvements. Even if the system is working great, you still need to improve it so that you don't lose your edge. And we understand that, JTA has certain challenges given the geographical spread of this area, the limited resources, and so on. But despite that, we've been making tremendous efforts to improve the service, add more service, cover more areas of Jacksonville, shorten the travel time, and so on. And as Clinton mentioned, the proof is in the pudding, really. Our ridership has been steadily increasing. I just want to correct one thing Clinton said, so since it's on the record. Ridership has been increasing on average 7% a month. So it's not every month going up 7 months. On average, per month it has been going up, if you take the annual average, 7% increase, which is tremendous. You probably cannot count 5 agencies in this country that's been experiencing the same increase in ridership. And that really says something, that we're on the right track, that all of these service improvements that we've been making, whether increasing frequencies, coverage, streamlining routes, and so on, and introducing new services as community shuttle and so on, it shows that we're doing the right thing. We realize that we still have a long way to get to where we want to get and where you want us to get, but at least we're on the right track. Okay, so really in order to provide better services for Jacksonville and to be able to serve you better, we needed to take this step. Which is really to adjust our fares, not only to meet what many of the other agencies, in Florida and elsewhere in the country are at this point, but really the main point of that exercise is so that we can improve our services and provide to you a better product every single day, whether you're going to work, to school, to medical appointments, or just to visit friends and families. And we did really do some extensive research, meetings, looking at data, and so on, so that we come up with the right fare structure for the right product. We didn't want just to look at what other agencies are doing and get their averages and so on. We could have easily done that, but that's not really the right way of doing it. We wanted to be specific to Jacksonville, tailored to our customers, to their needs, and to JTA's needs. So we started really by having numerous focus groups where we've invited passengers, actual passengers who've been riding our systems for weeks, months, years, and there were a few who didn't ride JTA, and certainly we did want to get their input as well. So we had several focus groups. We met with them. We spent about a couple hours with each focus group, kind of understanding more about their experiences about the service and so on, but also more specifically about the fares and what they thought the service is worth, how much they're paying, and so on. And there was literally unanimous support for making some improvements to the current passes, such as introducing a one-day pass which we don't have right now. So that's a new product that we're proposing. Having a 7-day pass rather than a weekly pass, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. And a 31-day pass instead of a monthly pass. Again, I'll explain more about these two items later on. 88%, almost 90% of the passengers, our passengers with whom we met as part of the Forbes groups, were willing to pay no less than $1.50 per trip. No less than $1.50 per trip, and up to $5. And many of some of those who participate in these Forbes groups have visited other cities or lived in other cities, and they understand the cost of providing transit and the value of transit to them and to the community. The connection passengers, the paratransit services that we provide, the passengers who participated in these focus groups were really more concerned of the form of payment or how to pay, using smart card or monthly pass and so on, than how much the service it's going to cost. Because they thought that providing the special paratransit services for them was definitely worth more than what they were paying right now. It's a great service for them to be able to get from where they are to their jobs, to their medical appointments, and so on. Now, after we did the focus groups, we started doing some of our analysis, detailed analysis by segmenting or grouping our passengers into different categories, such as how frequently they travel on JTA, the purpose of their trips, are they going to work, shopping, a combination of these trips, their age, how dependent are they on transit, what kind of fares they're paying. Are they paying cash every time they ride the bus? Are they monthly pass holders, and so on. So we went into great detail of segmenting or grouping our passengers into these different categories. And that was very critical in terms of doing the later analysis and come up with the fare model. We also looked at the peers, agencies that are similar in size to Jacksonville, to JTA, in terms of fleet as well as a city. So some agencies that fell in that category, we looked at their services and their fares, and we also made sure to include the Florida agencies such as Tampa, Orlando, Miami, and so on. And from all of this data, we developed a pretty comprehensive fare model, which took all of these and plus tons of other data and numbers into consideration. 20 different products, from single ride, weekly, monthly, reduced 10 books of 10 tickets, books of 20 tickets, and regular price books, reduced books, youth, and so on. It gets really confusing, and then you, as passengers, you start actually spending more than you should if you don't know what all these products are, and are they really priced the right way given the current level of service that we're providing, and given how much travel you make on JTA. So we wanted to simplify the structure so that it's easier to understand, and you can pick the right product for you. And we also wanted to introduce new products that we don't have right now, such as the one-day pass. Occasionally somebody wants to use transit for 1 day and don't want to bother spending money for a whole weekly pass, or don't want to pay cash and end up paying $6 in cash just to ride the bus that day. So we're introducing a new product such as the single-day pass. And there's also a 3-day pass that we're also proposing. We're also making improvements on period passes. And I mentioned that in the previous slide, 7-day and 31-day. And what those are, right now, you want to ride JTA, and let's say you go to school. School just started, or will start in a couple of days, on the 7th of November. And you'll be going to school every single day. I say, now, shall I buy a monthly pass? I've already lost a whole week. All right, so you have to pay for the whole month, which will expire at the end of November. But if you buy it on the 7th, you've already lost a whole week worth of riding transit. Same thing with the weekly passes right now. If you buy it on Wednesday, you can only use it through Sunday, so you've lost 2 or 3 days worth of travel. We're improving this service, so it's 7-day, not weekly pass, it's 7-day pass and 31-day pass, not monthly pass. So if you buy the 31-day pass on the 7th of November and you use it for the first time on the 7th of November, it'll be good until the end of the 7th of December. So it really doesn't matter when you buy your 31-day pass. From the first time you use it, whatever that day is, it'll be good for 31 days from that day. So you're not losing anything. So right now, you buy it on the 7th, you've literally lost 10 bucks on that pass. With the new product, doesn't matter. It's still good for 31 days. And similarly, the same thing with the 7-day pass. You buy it on Wednesday, and you use it for the first time on Wednesday, it'll be good till the end, to midnight, Tuesday night. So you still have the 7 days to protect you and protect your investment. This is the proposed new fare. The single trip will be $1.50. That's if you're just going in one direction, hopping on the bus, paying cash, $1.50. For express, it'll be $2, single trip, and then reduced local fare, they'll pay 75 cents. Express reduced is $1.50. The trolley will be $1.50, just like regular fixed route. Skyway will remain at 50 cents. These are the modified value passes. The 1-day value pass will be full price is $4. So basically, if you're going to work and you're making a transfer right now, and you're paying cash, you're paying $4. Right? If you're hopping on the bus twice to get to work, and then hopping on the bus twice to get back home, that's $4. With the new fare structure, $4 will get you a day pass, and you can ride it as many times as you want during that day. You can go to work, come back home, go shopping, go visit friends, and so on. The reduced 1-day value pass is $3. As I said, another new product we're introducing is the 3-day value pass at $10. Again, that will be valid from the day you first use it through three days from that time, and you pay $10 for that. Again, that's really targeted for those, and these are the information that we got from the focus groups, and so on. That some passengers say, well, sometimes I only need to ride the bus for 2 or 3 days in a row, and I really don't care about using the bus for the rest of the week. I'm just staying home with the grandkids, or my children, whatever it is. And I don't want to spend, money on a whole weekly pass when I know I'm going to use it for only 2 or 3 days. And hence, the day pass and 3-day pass were introduced. The 7-day pass, again, not weekly pass, but 7-day pass, will be $16. And the 31-day pass will be $50. And if you're making 13 trips a week, if you're making 13 trips a week, you'll break even with the monthly pass, with the 31-day pass. Okay. If you're only making 13 trips, which means that if you're going to work, that's one trip, coming back, that's another trip, or if you're transferring, if you count each of these, if you're only making 13 of these a week, you'll break even. And we know from our numbers, from our statistics, and from our surveys and focus groups that those who currently buy the monthly pass are making actually about 17, 18 trips a week or more. So this is still a bargain. And it gives you the freedom really to use it all day, all week, for the whole 31 days, as many times as you want. The reduced 31-day value pass and the youth 31 value pass will be $30. If you ride the community shuttle in the areas where community shuttle serves, and you request a deviation, meaning to have the bus come to your front door to pick you up, on top of the regular fare, you'll pay 50 cents, which is the case right now. So that didn't change. For paratransit, the single ride will be a flat $3. And again, from the previous slide and from our focus groups and so on, the paratransit passengers really thought that the service they're getting was worth more than that, and they were more concerned with, the form of payment rather than how much the service is cost. And they really appreciate the service and they think that it is really worth much more than that. And we certainly appreciate their service as well. For the TD within Duval County, it will still be a $3 flat. If they go outside the county, it will be based on distance. So this is the proposed new fare structure for JTA. This is the peer analysis that we did, looking at other agencies and what they're charging and so on. And as I said, with the exception of Miami, we included because it's in Florida, but with the exception of Miami, the rest of these are pretty similar to JTA in terms of size, population, fleet, service, and so on. And if you look at the average here, this is the average for all of these agencies: Volusia, Palm Beach County, Tampa, Lynx, Pinellas, Suncoast, Miami, Richmond, Louisville, Kentucky, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Columbus, Ohio. If you look at the average of what they're paying, what they're charging, it's much higher than our new proposed fare structure in every category. On average, these agencies are charging their customers $1.67, almost $1.70 for a single trip. Our proposed new fare is $1.50. Their day pass is $3.98, $4. Our proposed one is $4. Their 7-day pass, and mind you that some of these are not 7-day, they're weekly passes, but they're 7-day or weekly passes. On average, they're charging their customers $19. Our proposed new fare structure is putting it at $16. The 31-day pass, or monthly passes, because many of these are actually monthly passes, on average, they're charging their riders $60. Our proposed new fare structure sets it at $50. For seniors, all of these agencies, they charge seniors up to the age of 65. Anywhere from 65 cents to $2. If you're 63 years old, 64 years old, and so on, you're paying. Only after, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. Actually, up to 65 years old, these agencies are charging their seniors the full fare. So, here and at Lynx, they're paying $2. If you're 64 years old, you're paying $2. Only when you hit 65 years of age, when you get a discount and you only pay $1. With our proposed fare structure, seniors, 60 years or older, ride for free. So we're not changing that. And we appreciate that service. We know it's a great service for our community, and we're keeping it as it is. For the paratransit, on average, these agencies are charging $3.15 per trip. Our proposed new fare structure sets it at $3. So as you can see, in every category, we're lower than all of these agencies, except for the day pass, we're right on the mark. Now, I I have a couple of slides here that I want to show you because it's really related to the first structure. Just to show you the link between the two and the benefit and how it's going to really work, so you can understand the advantages to you with these new products and how they're going to work to your advantage. As Shannon mentioned, we're introducing a whole new system, and I'm not going to spend too much time on the technicalities of that. Our marketing department has a great outreach effort out there, and we're in the community already, and you'll hear more and more about this. But this is a smart card system. It looks like a credit card, pretty plastic, pretty thick, that you can buy at ticket vending machines that will be around the town. And you can, once you have your card, you can go to the ticket vending machine and buy a 31-day pass on it, or add a day pass on it, or just add cash on it, or go to the internet, and that will come a few months later. You can go to the internet and add money on your card through the internet. There will be locations throughout the city, like Walgreens, Winn-Dixie, and other locations where you can just go there and tell them, I want to put money on my smart card, on my Star card, and they'll do it for you. Or you can add a 31-day pass on this, and they'll do it for you. You can still come to Rosa Parks, and talk to our customer rep there and do it there, of course. But the reason I'm mentioning that is that from our surveys and focus groups, we found out that many of our riders right now who are riding the bus 4 or 5 times a day, round trip, meaning 8 to 10 times a week, they're paying cash. And when asked, so why don't you buy a weekly pass or a monthly pass? Some of them said they didn't know about that, but many of them also said, well, it's not convenient. I can't get to Walgreens. I can't get to that location to buy a weekly pass or a monthly pass. So they end up paying cash, which means they're paying way more than they should. With this new system, it's going to be so convenient and very accessible for everybody to be able to buy a 31-day pass or a 7-day pass, which means that it's savings for you. So if right now you're spending cash in a month, you're spending $55, $60 on transit, well, with the new fare structure and this technology, all you need to spend is $50 because you have access to it. It'll be all around town. So there's a big link between this technology and the new fare structure we're proposing. And it will give you more access to monthly passes, or 31-day pass, 7-day pass, and so on. This is the equipment that will go on the bus. It's very easy just to tap it. You don't have to swipe or anything. Just tap your card and you're on. You can still pay cash if you want to, if you're just running it occasionally. These are the ticket vending machines that will be placed at strategic locations, and we'll be adding more and more of them as we go. But you can go here and say, okay, I have my card, I want to add money on it, I want to buy a 7-day pass, 31-day pass, whatever it is, and you can do it right here. And as I said, some of the businesses, Winn-Dixie, Walgreens, and we're trying to expand that network, will have these small machines where you go to the cashier, tell them, I want to add $20 on my card, or I want to buy a 7-day pass, and they'll put it on your card. So it'll be all around town, as well as on the internet, so you have access to it on the internet. So that should really give you the best product that you can get your hands on to meet your travel needs. And that really concludes my portion of this presentation. I'm going to hand it over to Ken Stover, the manager of service planning, and he's going to go over a couple of slides pertaining to some of the service changes we're planning for December.
Good morning, everyone. I would also like to add how much we appreciate everyone coming out, and many of you I do recognize, and thanks for all the comments. We appreciate it very much. We've actually made many changes over the past couple of years as the Jacksonville Transportation Authority works through our system redesign. Just wanted to share a couple of points with you. Some of our customers came to us in prior meetings that travel from Dunn Avenue, Main Street, San Jose, the beaches, asked us to look at frequency improvements. You may recall back not too long ago when the P7 ran 38 minutes peak and 45 minutes off peak. That was a very busy market. JTA is market driven. We want to give you the best product that fits our budget and fits the needs of the customer. So what we did is we took those comments, we came back and created something called the CT1. So today we now provide 20-minute peak hour service and 30-minute off peak, all the way up to 6 p.m. So you can now travel from Dunn Avenue on a single seat ride all the way to San Jose and Margon. Again, that was comments that we received from meetings just like this from our customers. The beaches, we had a big improvement there. We went from a 60-minute service along 3rd Street on, say, Saturday, for example, to a 30-minute service. So if you ride at the beaches area, then you know that today you have a 30-minute service. So building on that, we do have, these changes are really more minor in nature for this round, but I do want to go through them with you. The Riverside Trolley, there is a modification south of 5 Points, which is Margaret and Riverside, if you're familiar with the area. That service area, the Riverside Trolley service will be removed from that segment of the route. So the area that I'm speaking of would be along here, down to Dancy and over to Park Street, and then finally terminating here at the FSCJ campus. Now, if you're currently a rider of the Riverside Trolley in this segment, you still have an option, P4, still have P4, and you also have West Side 12 and R5 in the neighborhood here. So you still have service through Avondale on the P4. You have the West Side 12 and the R5 here on Park Street, and all three will actually take you to FSCJ campus. Now, one of the other things happening with the Riverside Trolley would be an extension into downtown to better serve the needs there. We heard from many of our customers asking for a little bit more extension beyond the Jacksonville Landing to Hemi Plaza, the St. James Courthouse Building, and some of the other buildings in the area. The service will operate with 20-minute frequency, and that's all day up to right around 7 p.m., which today it operates 12 minutes in peak and then 35 in off peak. So the new service will be 20 minutes throughout the service day. Also on Saturday, service will continue to operate on Saturday. It'll go from 75 minutes to 60 minutes. The next slide shows you, this is a little bit expansion of the downtown area. And it basically, because of some of the one-way streets that run east and west, you kind of see what looks like a zigzag here. But it's generally operating on Bay Street to Broad. This is Broad Street traveling north, and then across Church Street traveling east over to Hemi Plaza, the St. James Building, City Hall Building, God Bowl Building, then back across Adams here to Broad, to Forsyth, to Laura, and then back to Jacksonville Landing. So if you want to travel in this area, you would not have to ride the trolley all the way around. So it will travel in both directions for you. The next modification is on our Dinsmore Community Shuttle. This service, again, this was from one of the public outreach meetings we had. Many of our customers asked us to look at including Walmart as part of the regular route and not as a deviation. So what we did is we came back with a minor route modification, and you can see that's here. Currently, the route travels straight across Dunn Avenue at where Leonid and Dunn split there. What we did is we came in with we'll do a quick little modification on 295, get off at Lynn Turner, serve Walmart as part of the regular route design, and then just pick up the current route, Lynn Turner down to Leonid, and then we'll continue to serve Iverson Park, Main Street, River City Marketplace. All those popular destinations will still be there. Frequency will remain at 60 minutes. Next service modification, because the Riverside Trolley service will be modified, which will impact this service. Currently, the Riverside Trolley is set up to meet with the Ortega NAS Community Shuttle. So to continue to provide our customers with an option, the new Ortega NAS Community Shuttle schedule will align with the West Side 12. So if you're riding the service from Rosa Parks or from downtown, you can continue to do that out to Kent campus and then meet with the Ortega NAS shuttle at that point. So there will be an alignment with the West Side 12 and the NAS Ortega Community Shuttle. You'll still have that available to you. A little improvement on frequency, down to 70 minutes on weekday, and then on Saturday you see it's a 60-minute, which is a little bit more significant improvement. The other things that are going on, we have frequency enhancements for the F1, CT1, CT4, K2, and B7. These are, you'll notice on your handout, we refer to them as a tripper. Definition of the tripper is basically it's a trip that runs that one particular time of day during they're all generally peak hour service. So there is an enhancement to the frequency during that period of the service span of hours. The other modification that we have made was to the Southside 8. Again, this came directly from our customers. There were some issues with on-time performance. We were able, because of the technology on all of our buses, we're able to look at ridership, look at time of day, look at how we're doing, how we're performing. And we looked at that and said, you know what, that customer is absolutely right. We can do better than this. So we took a look at that, we used that data, we modified that schedule. So you should see a big improvement, and I don't think you'll have, as long as you're not caught by a train, you shouldn't have any problems moving past December 5th when all this becomes effective. And that's it from service planning. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken. Hello, gang. I'm back, and it's time for us to get into our public comment section. And again, just as a reminder for any of you who joined us late, we're going into the public comment section, and we thank you for your patience during our presentations. If you want to speak and you haven't already done so, fill out one of these speaker cards. You can find them at the back table. Again, staff began at this location at 11, and we started our presentation at 11:30, and we're going to remain after everyone speaks to answer some questions. Again, we're allowing everyone to speak for 3 minutes. And we're going to ask you to hold our questions until the end when we can answer your questions one-on-one, so that way we can get through our whole stack of cards.